Somewhere in the rainforest canopy, an animal is about to make the worst decision of its week. It has spent days doing almost nothing, hanging upside down, chewing slowly, conserving every calorie it owns. And now, it's climbing down. Down means jaguars. Down means ocelots. Down means a harpy evil with nothing better to do than watch the forest floor. This animal is famous for one survival strategy: never, ever leave the trees, and once a week it breaks that rule completely just to go to the bathroom. This is the three-toed sloth, and its toilet habits have puzzled biologists for decades. Sloths are built like a species that gave up on speed entirely. They eat almost nothing but leaves, which provide so few usable nutrients that sloths run an extremely slow digestive system and an equally slow metabolism. Everything about them is a cost-cutting measure: move less, burn less, digest slower. It's a strategy that works, right up until the one moment a week when it doesn't. Climbing down from the canopy can burn roughly 1/10 of a sloth's entire daily energy budget, all spent on a single round trip most animals wouldn't think twice about. Once on the ground, the sloth digs a small hollow with its tail, defecates into it, and covers the evidence with leaves before hauling itself back up. The whole ritual happens roughly once a week, and it happens the same way every time. For an animal whose entire defense strategy is stay still and stay high, this is a death wish, so why not just let go from a branch the way its two-toed cousins sometimes do? The answer is that the sloth isn't just leaving waste behind, it's running a business it doesn't know it's running. A three-toed sloth's fur isn't really fur, it's real estate. Living inside it is a small colony of moths and a separate colony of algae, both of which depend on the sloth as their landlord. The moths need somewhere to lay their eggs, the algae need nitrogen to grow. Neither can get what it needs from a sloth that never comes down. So according to one influential hypothesis, first proposed by ecologist Jonathan Pauli and colleagues, the descent isn't really about the sloth at all. It's rent day for the tenants. When the sloth reaches the ground, female moths climb out of its fur and lay their eggs directly in the fresh dung. The eggs hatch into larvae, the larvae eat the dung, and eventually a new generation of moths flies up into the canopy looking for a sloth to move into. Meanwhile, the moths that stay behind are doing their own quiet work. Their waste adds nitrogen to the fur, and that nitrogen appears to feed the algae growing there. The sloth, in turn, may lick or groom that algae off its own coat. The algae is unusually rich in fat and easy to digest, which means it could work as a nutritional top-up for an animal whose regular diet is nutritionally poor. A moth nursery, an algae farm, a once-a-week commute to keep both running, all happening in the coat of an animal that otherwise refuses to move. If that sounds like a lot of biological infrastructure just to justify a bathroom trip, that's roughly what it is, and it comes at a brutal price. The forest floor is not sloth territory, it's jaguar territory, ocelot territory, harpy eagle territory. On a branch, a sloth's slowness is camouflage, nothing moving, nothing worth noticing. On the ground, that same slowness turns it into the easiest meal in the neighborhood. Some researchers estimate that a majority of recorded sloth deaths happen during these ground trips, though exact figures vary by site and study. Every week, the sloth walks back into the one environment built to kill it for a routine that lasts only minutes. And here, the story gets messier, because not every biologist agrees the moths and algae are worth dying for. A more recent review has pushed back on the mutualism idea, arguing the evidence for a real nutritional or reproductive payoff is weaker than it first appeared. That review proposes a less flattering explanation. Maybe the ground descent habit isn't a clever trade after all. Maybe it's simply old, an ancestral behavior left over from a time when sloths were different animals in a different world that never got selected out because it hasn't killed off the species, only individuals one at a time. Evolution doesn't require a habit to be brilliant. It only requires that habit not be fatal to the species as a whole, and so far, ground-defecating sloths haven't gone extinct. Two hypotheses, one animal, and no final verdict yet: a landlord either quietly running the best hidden farm in the rainforest, or a creature stuck paying rent on a habit nobody remembers signing up for. Either way, the sloth keeps making the trip. It climbs down slowly, digs its small hole, covers it with leaves, and climbs back into the canopy it should never have left in the first place. Whatever the real reason, tenants that need feeding, or a habit too old to unlearn, the risk hasn't gone away, and the sloth hasn't stopped taking it. Which might be the most sloth thing about the whole story. Even its biggest gamble happens in slow motion, and it still hasn't cost the species everything. Not yet, anyway.